Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dawud Ahmed and I'm your host in Ramadan Radio. This year, our topic is to bring together Muslim professionals who share common values based on Islam while working and succeeding in their respective fields. We're hoping with this program to connect with others from different industries and backgrounds, exchange ideas and knowledge, and collaborate, inshallah, in the future in various projects. With me today, I have Sakarie, who's a youth worker, and Dawud, who's a youth mentor. I would like to ask Sakarie to introduce yourself and also tell what inspired you to pursue career in youth work.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sakarie Ahmed Noor, 25-year-old, and I work as a youth and free time instructor. On the side, I'm studying business, and then I work with the Muslim community in different associations as volunteer. What inspired me to pursue my career? I think it's the upbringing I had. Like, I came here in Finland 2011 as a refugee, so I was raised by youth instructors. They showed me the importance this work has and the impact it had on me. That was what helped me to understand that we need, like, that our youth need Somali youth instructors, they need Muslim youth instructors, because in those fields as well, when we get people from abroad here, we can be the ones who help them to, like, become part of society. So yeah.
Thanks. What about Dawud? Would you introduce yourself and also tell me what are some of the biggest challenges young people are facing that you see in your work?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, everyone. Nice to meet everyone here. Alhamdulillah. It's been a beautiful Ramadan evening. Glad to be here today. My name is Dawud Tran, or actually Chan, which I found out just a few months ago, which is the right way to pronounce my name. And I have a very, very long experience in youth activism and youth work. Currently, I work in a company called Friendix, and there we mentor and instruct young people from the age of 8 to mainly 18 or even a bit older. I've been working in an association named Single Parents Association, and I was there as an assistant instructor. The greatest challenges, I believe, that are facing the whole Western world, not just Finland, is the lack of right values and the fact that everyone accesses the world of internet too early on in their lives.
That's a big thing. Growing up, we received our first phones when we were in high school. Nowadays, when they're starting their primary school, they will receive their phones.
If I should be more precise on what I meant by the fact that exposure to everything, to the internet, is one of the greatest challenges that youth are facing, is the fact that people are not mature enough to filter and to digest all the information that they are digesting. Yeah.
I understand. Sakarie, how do you approach working with diverse groups of young people? You're working in school, maybe you have experience working in other places as well, seeing youth on the streets. There might be Muslims and non-Muslims together, and even, people with different backgrounds, different nationalities. How do you approach a group of young mixed people?
Wallahi, the way I always think is I see the youth as a youth. Like, I never look their background, the issues they have. Like, first of all, when you get the chance to talk to someone, you will get, like, the more information you get out of them, the better help I can give them. So I try to actively listen and be like the trustworthy adult that they can come and talk about their issues. And then with that, I understood also is it's not that the youth are difficult, it's that they are in a difficult life situation. So I try to kind of help them, help themselves as well, to see that for them to actually go through difficulties, they also need to be ready to be helped, because you can't help anyone if they are not ready to be helped. So I try to discuss, be honest about it. I've had a lot of youth that get very scared when they do like a big mistake, and they are afraid how are they going to be treated in, like, for example, in the middle school where I work. And just today we had a conversation with a student who was scared to share like that he has done something wrong. He broke like a table from his classroom, and he was so afraid about it. And then we discussing, and I was telling him that like it's okay to mess up, then you just have to be honest, like you are fasting, it's Ramadan and everything, so it doesn't help. And then my discussion kind of helped them, like helped him to be honest about it. And like through discussion, I think it takes communication, like to just communicate with the youth, and then through that you will always find the way to help that specific youth.
Do you find any difficulties having connection with a child of different religious background?
Not actually. Like the thing with me is I always offer, like, for example, as a Muslim, I like my classroom is always open for the Muslim youth. Like when they want to pray, like in between classes, like they can come always pray. They come to talk to me about religion and all of that. And other students, because we live in Finland, that where most students and most people are not Muslims, like you kind of have to respect them as well and kind of understand. And when I share my values to them, they kind of respect mine. And then with that, we always discuss, like, not too personally to go into deep to their life situations, but like be kind to one another, just to discuss and respect one another. Like mutual respect, I think, is a big key for this kind of discussions.
I would even argue that humans, regardless of whatever background they have, people are still, in the end, quite the same. The human dynamics are still the same, and if you offer them care, you respect them, you listen to them, that's what everyone needs, especially the younger ones, right?
Yeah. And actually, about the challenges the youth face, social media is also what I believe. Like I was just watching a video that was talking about the negative impact of social media, and then this speaker was talking more like into depth about it, and how we are seeing other people's kind of living their best life. And the negative impact it has is like you start to compare your life to others, and you feel lost, you feel like you are not doing enough, you always find someone that's doing more. And this speaker said a phrase that was like that is stuck in my mind. It's like she said that we compare our lives behind the scene to someone else's life's highlight. So someone puts like the best highlight of their life, and you are comparing it to your life behind the scene. So you will never win, because it's work in progress. So I think social media, like, even though we have a lot of information, we don't know how to use it. We are like, even though we have the chance to network and be closer than ever before, we are getting much farther away from each other, because of everyone is just focused on their phone. So yeah.
So Dawood, I just asked you about the most challenging issues about the youth overall. What about the Muslim youth? Do they have some specific challenges that you've seen lately?
Since the Muslims in Finland are not so deep-rooted, and the immigration happened very, very recently, so the ones who are now the youth, they are born from immigrants, yeah, who moved to Finland, and they have a lot of paving to do, and they are actually balancing in between two cultures, and they're just trying to form their identity out of the scratch. They don't have a lot of role models. They don't have a lot of representation in professional fields, neither in media and whatever and whatnot. And yeah, I would say that this is one of the greatest major challenges.
So lack of role models. Luckily, in this show, we've had some good role models, both for young Muslim girls and young Muslim boys as well. Listen to the last episode where there was Kazana and Mariam, and they were speaking about their struggles to find their place in work fields where it's actually mostly men working. It was in business and gaming, and what they mentioned was they felt that the Finnish society at large was accepting, but you just had to try and do your best. Do you think that the young Muslim boys, since especially in certain groups, aren't doing so well with studies and work life? Do the boys have something specific holding them back, or is it just a coincidence?
I'm very sad to say this out loud, but to be honest, I can see and sense a lot of failed parenting. This could be definitely due to a lot of circumstantial things, but yeah, definitely.
What else than parenting? Is there anything else that's maybe holding back the boys from reaching, high levels in work or studies?
I think, in my opinion, what's holding back, especially when we talk about the boys, is that society. Like, we see in the media, news, Finnish as a second language, boys are like kinda not that smart. Like, everything that the media is putting out, it's kind of like putting pressure on the youngsters, and like making them believe that they are not smart enough. And then in the school systems, like, we just started to discuss about this, that the issue we have is, for example, a student counselor, like they never encourage the young boys to like challenge themselves and to dream big. They just say, oh yeah, you have this grade, like just go here, this is easier, just do this. So the society, we are failing them. And the thing about the youth is, like, they never disappoint. Like, when you expect something out of them, they will do that. Like, if we are expecting for them to do a specific thing, they will do that. And then another thing is, for example, now we have these gangs, Muslim boys in the streets, etc. The bigger problem of them being in the streets is, like, they don't have a place to be. As a Muslim young boys, like, they are the society where everyone is just have something to say about masculinity, and they have something to say about being Muslim. Like, it's not an easy word to be a 15-year-old at this day and age, I believe. Like, 10 years ago when I came to Finland, it wasn't this bad. Like, I had the chance to be who I wanted to be. Like, I was encouraged to be a Muslim man and to let everybody know my values. Now, if you try to do that, if you go to a youth center, for example, here in Helsinki, and try to bring up your religion, your values, and try to talk about your identity with another Muslim youngster, the youth worker, most of them are like, oh, here is a religion-free space. Like, you cannot talk about religion. So the youths are out there talking about religion, even though if they are not in the best places to do so.
Regarding upbringing that Dawud mentioned, do you feel that the parents are raising the boys and the girls differently? Like, I've heard cases where the girls in the family they're not just cleaning the house, they're cleaning the room of the boys as well. What does this do to the mentality of the boys, that they feel that they can get everything ready, get everything done for them, and the girls, they have like a certain time that they must come home, while the boys, they can stay out late. This mentality of that the boys are boys.
For me, like, I don't think I have an opinion in that, because I myself, I'm 25-year-old, never had like the chance to be raised in a family where you have sister and brothers, and to like actually witness the situation. But I think, like, I was having a conversation with few of my friends about this, that Muslim girls have a lot of responsibilities. Like, they have been given much more than they can take, but they take it proudly because it's their family and etc. And then if the boys don't have as much responsibility, it also shows in the long run, even though if it doesn't show up like right now in the situation, it shows like in the future. And the worst thing is that it will show negatively, like the way that boy treat other women, the way that like what kind of ideology he has, what does it mean to be a man. So yeah, I'll say that.
Do you think that Muslim families should raise boys more like they're raising their girls?
Yes, definitely. I feel that there's a very great discrepancy in the raising of the daughters and their sons. Girls definitely gain much more responsibility, and this responsibility is actually one great theme and an area which is at the crux of the issue that would actually make human grow in the best manner. If you look at for example, the Prophet ﷺ, he was very, very, very responsible. So responsible that everyone trusted him. And almost all the prophets, they were shepherds. So actually, I don't like to talk about too much about the issues and challenges, even though they are very much real. It is very much real that it is not easy to grow as a responsible Muslim, healthily masculine man in this day and age. People should just look up for the best examples, and they should think that what makes them grow. Even if you were dealt a hand by outside factors of your own powers, you should look where you stand, and then look at the solutions and where to find the right way to go on about your life, inshallah.
Regarding these same youth that might be on the streets, maybe get into fights, maybe be in some kind of trouble at school, but when the Ramadan comes, you see the same boys in the masjid praying and behaving well. What do you think Ramadan could during the Ramadan, how do you think we could approach these young boys that are in between these two different situations, or these two different identities of being that thug in the streets versus being that practicing Muslim?
I think, like, Subhanallah, what I have, like, just today we were praying Dhuhr with few of my students who are one of the toughest kids, like you can see, and like leading them to the prayer, and then after prayer them discussing about the surahs we were reciting, and we were listening to the Quran, and the way they come to my class and ask if we can pray together, like, it shows that Ramadan is a special month, and it's like a month full of togetherness, month full of like discipline, challenges, and like trying to get closer to Allah, and not judging anybody who's trying to be better. Like, because when we see these youngsters and people who are not that practical when it comes to religion do more than that in Ramadan, we should support them and offer them like this kind of safe space. Like, you don't even need to be surprised about them praying. You can be happy for them, and you don't even need to comment on it. Like, you can see and pray and make dua that they'll keep going after Ramadan as well.
How about you, Dawud? Do you see light in the tunnel?
Definitely, I see a lot of light in the tunnel. I see a lot of young Muslims nowadays educating themselves, going to the world, finding different kinds of trainings and whatnot. I see that the Muslim Ummah here in Finland is definitely developing. And regarding the youth, I would really see that it is a communal obligation that especially during the time of Ramadan, the community should receive these people, not scorn them, not to give them a bad look, but really, really welcome everyone to the table and be part of the youth work. Especially the time of Ramadan, which is very, very blessed and amazing. Everyone should be more receptive, and more vigilant to the word of Allah and finding the right ways of doing the right things, inshallah.
What regarding an advice that you would give to this young boy who is having challenges, behaving, maybe holding back his feelings, his anger in a certain situation? Yet again, he's God conscious and he wants to succeed in life and in the hereafter. What would you give to that kind of boy an advice?
Okay. The best advice I can give to that kind of a youngster is, and I'll take example from my life, is wallahi to listen to that friend who's trying to call you when it's prayer time, who tells you, come pray with me, let's go to the masjid. Because when you are younger, you want to have fun, you want to go out, you want to be with friends and like vibe, all of that. But one of my best friend is like, I have lived with him when I was in the camp. I have lived with him as a roommate like until last year, and he was the one who always used to tell me, Sake, remember to pray, this dunya is small. So like, now that I have moved away from him and we live separately, like looking back, I actually believe he was the one who kept me in the religion, because if I haven't lived with him, I think I might have been on the wrong path and went away like in a path that I hope I would never, and also our youth will never take that path. So wallahi, listen to that friend. Even though it's not nice that they repeat the same thing, they do that because of out of love as a brother, as a Muslim brother. So yeah.
What a friend. That's a very good point. And what about you, Dawud? You have a lot of experience working with the youth, and you've seen young boys going to the right path, taking the right path, and boys going to the wrong path, and what's the ultimate end of those people you've seen. What would you give as that advice to a youngster who is in between these two roads?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't create us and just leave us. Adam had Allah. The Sahabas had the Prophet. You were born into this world from your parents. So everyone is dependent on someone, something. I urge every one of you to really find a mentor in your life if you don't have it already. If you cannot have a true person who really cares about you, your development and your future, I know it's sometimes a cold and a tough country where individualism is very much on the high and everyone is just unfortunately thinking about themselves, and everyone is taught to only mind your own business. No, we're a community, we're brothers and sisters. Try to find someone to really mentor you, and if you cannot find that someone, take a pen and paper. Internet is full of information and personalities that you can learn from. Yes, find someone to really show you the way and take those steps, inshallah ta'ala.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of Ramadan Radio. Thank you, all the listeners. Thank you, Dawud and Sakarie. And until next time, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.